following list of contents have been discussed as what is the ion exchange method, what is meant by anion exchange and cation exchange, and what is the anion exchange capacity and cation exchange capacity in the soil. Soil features that influence ion transport, soil index fertilizers that increase the salt concentration of soil, then mechanism of absorption of ion, and some important terms that is very important and have been discussed in previous lecture and also incorporated in this lecture also.
Ion exchange method. Ion exchange basically exchange of ions between two or more electrolyte solution. Most of the purification process works on the mechanism of ion exchange method. Ion exchange can take place either cation exchange process or anion exchange process. Cation exchange process, for example, carboxyl group can be a good example of cation exchanges, while amino-imidazole groups represent the anion exchanges. It can also refer to exchange of ions on a solid substrate to a soil solution. High cation exchange capacity clay and resins are commonly used for the uptake of metals from aqueous solution. However, this method requires high labor and is limited to a certain concentration of metals in solution. The system also operates under specific temperature and pH. Natural and synthetic clays, zeolites, and synthetic resins have been used for the removal and attenuation of metal from wastewater. In the recent year, ion exchange process has been increasingly used for the removal of heavy metals or the recovery of precious metals. It is versatile separation with the potential for broad application in the water and wastewater treatment. Ion exchanger materials have been studied for removing heavy metals for metal bearing waste. For the current treatment, a facility has been designed for the removal of heavy metal from the acid mine drainage waste by the ion exchange technology method.
Ion exchange involves the movement of cations. Cations basically positively charged elements like calcium, magnesium, and sodium, and movement of anions. Anions basically negatively charged elements like chloride and compounds like nitrate through the soil. Cation exchange is the interchanging between a cation in the solution of water around the soil particle and another cation that is stuck to the clay surface. The number of cations in the soil water solution is much smaller than the number that is attached to the soil particles. The total amount of positive charge that the soil can absorb is called cation exchange capacity. Cation exchange capacity impacts how quickly nutrients move through the profile. As the soil exchange or cation exchange capacity in this picture, as the positively charged cations calcium, aluminum, uh, plus 2 in plus 2 state and aluminum in plus 3 state. These positively charged cation that is soil can absorb is known as cation exchange capacity. A soil with a low cation exchange capacity is much less fertile because it cannot hold on too many nutrients and they usually contain less clay. If soil has low cation exchange capacity, it is important to apply fertilizers because fertilizers as contain the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, commonly collectively known as NPK fertilizers. These are applied on the crops to increase the contents of nutrients. Hence these application in small doses, so it doesn't infiltrate into the groundwater. A soil with a low cation exchange capacity is less able to hold spilled chemicals. So a huge quantity of fertilizers not be applied because it increases the nutrients and which in turn cause the soil pollution. Soil will attract and retain anions rather than cations. In the tropics and many highly weathered soils have the anion exchange capacity than the cation exchange capacity. Anions are the negatively charged. The anions held and retained by the soil particles include phosphate, sulfate, nitrate, and chlorine. In order of decreasing strength, in comparison to the soil with cation exchange capacity, soil with anion exchange capacity have a net positive charge. Soil that have an anion exchange capacity typically contain weathered kaolin minerals, iron and aluminum oxide and amorphous materials. Anion exchange capacity is dependent on the pH of soil and increases as the pH of the soil decreases. Base saturation basically is a measurement that indicates the relative amount of base cations in the soil. By definition, it is the percentage of calcium, magnesium, potassium and sodium cations that make up the total cation exchange capacity. For example, a base saturation of 25% means that 25% of the cation exchange capacity is occupied by the base cations. If the soil doesn't exhibit an anion exchange capacity, the remainder 75% of the cation exchange capacity will be occupied by the acidic cations such as hydrogen and aluminum. Generally, the base saturation is high in weathered soils that form from the basic igneous rocks, such as the pH of the soil increases as base saturation increases. Highly weathered and or acidic soils tend to have low base saturation. Cation exchange soils. Cation exchange soils are composed of three forms of matter: solid, liquid and gases. The solid phase is made up of organic and inorganic material. The inorganic fraction of soil solids is composed of primary and secondary minerals with different particle size. The soil fractions that are seeds of ion exchange are the organic, and the mineral components with effective particle diameter of less than 20 picometer. This includes a portion of the silt and all the clay fraction as well as colloidal organic matter. Because cations are positively charged, they are attracted to the surfaces that are negatively charged. The organic fraction consists of residues of plants and animals in all stages of decomposition, and stable part is usually termed as humus. In organic fraction, these arise from the dissociation of certain functional groups, especially carboxylic acid and phenolic groups. Many carboxylic groups will dissociate, leaving a negative charge at the site of functional group. As shown in this equation, a carboxylic group dissociate and convert into the carboxyl anion and positively charged hydrogen at pH value below the 7, nearly the acidic pH. 85 to 90% of the negative charge of humus is due to these two functional groups alone. Two other groups, enol and imide, also contribute to the negative charge of the organic matter. Negative charges in the inorganic clay fraction arise from two sources. The first is isomorphous substitution in a layer silicate minerals. and the second caused by the deprotonation of both hydroxyl group attached to the silicon atoms at the broken edges of tetrahedral planes and exposed aluminum hydroxyl groups in the layer silicates. Deprotonation or dissociation of hydrogen ions from hydroxyl group at the broken edge of clay particles is the primary source of negative charge in the clay. The negative charge that develops an organic and mineral colloid is neutralized by the cation attracted to the surface of these colloids. The quantity of cations expressed in milliequivalent per 100 gram of oven dry soil is termed the cation exchange capacity of the soil. It is important chemical property of soil and is closely related to soil fertility. Exchange is necessary to an understanding of the fertility and acidity. Cation exchange means the exchange of one cation for another in the solution phase. Soil colloids have adsorbed to their exchange sites numerous cations including calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, aluminum, iron and hydrogen. These ions are held depending on their charges and their hydrated and unhydrated radii. As a rule, ions with a valence of 2 or 3 electrons are held more tightly than monovalent cations. Also, the greater the degree to which the ion is hydrated, the less tightly it will be held. A conventional method of cation exchange capacity measurement is to extract a soil sample with neutral 1 normal ammonium acetate. All of the exchangeable cations are replaced by ammonium ions and the cation exchange capacity becomes saturated with the ammonium. If this ammonium saturated soil is extracted with a solution of a different salt, say 1 normal potassium chloride, the potassium ions will replace the ammonium ions. If the soil potassium chloride suspension is filtered, the filtrate will contain the ammonium ions that were positively adsorbed by the soil. The quantity of ammonium ions in the leachate is a measure of cation exchange capacity of the soil and can easily be determined. Soil colloid capacities are not the only component of the soil plant system to exhibit cation exchange properties. It has been observed that plant roots themselves may also possess this property. The exchange properties of the roots appear to be attributable mainly to carboxyl group present in pectin substances. Such sites may account for 70 to 90% of it considered to be living portion. Root exchange retaining ions such as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, manganese, calcium. Uptake of exchangeable ions by the root is considered to be positive passive process that is distinct from the intake into the interior living portion of the cell. Plants differ in the magnitude of their measured root cation exchange capacity values. Legumes and other plant species with high cation exchange capacity value tend to absorb divalent cations such as calcium over monovalent cations, whereas the reverse occurs with the grasses As grasses absorb monovalent cations over the divalent cations such as calcium, these cation exchange properties of the root help to explain why in grass legume pasture on soil containing less than adequate potassium, the grass survive but the legume disappear. The grasses are considered to be more effective absorbers of potassium than the legumes. Anion exchange in the soil. It has been known for a long time that phosphates don't leach from soils but are retained in the forms that may be removed only by extraction with various salt, acid and alkaline solutions. A fraction of the phosphorus appears to be held in the form that are quite insoluble. Contrary to cation exchange, the capacity for retaining anions increases with decrease in soil pH. Further, anion exchange is much greater in soil containing hydrous oxide of iron and aluminum. The mechanism responsible for the anion exchange in the soil are much more complex than simple electrostatic attraction involved in most cation exchange reactions. Anions may be retained by the soil particles through a number of reactions, some of which are electrostatic and are discussed as being non-specific. Specific adsorption or chemisorption reaction of a non-electrostatic nature are also possible. The positive charge sites responsible for electrostatic adsorption and exchange of anions originate in the broken bonds, primarily in alumina octahedral sheet exposing hydroxyl group surface of soil. Displacement of hydroxyl ion from hydrous ion in aluminum oxide is also considered to be an important mechanism for anion exchange in highly leached soils to be of tropics and subtropics, and in such soil that anion exchange is greatest. Movement of ions from soil to root. For ions to be absorbed by the plant root, they must come in contact with the root surface. There are generally three ways in which nutrient ions in the soil may reach the root surface. This has already been discussed, these three ways, in lecture number 38. Root interception with the possibility of contact exchange that mentioned previously. Diffusion of ions in the soil solution from area of high to low concentration. Movement of ions by mass movement with the soil solution, that is the mass flow. Mass flow occurs when plant nutrients, ions and other dissolved substances are transported in the flow of water to the root that results from transpirational water uptake by the plant. It means water is necessary, flow of water is necessary to transport the plant nutrients and other dissolved substances. Some mass flow can also take place in response to evaporation and percolation of soil water. Amount of nutrients reaching roots by mass flow are determined by the rate of water flow or the water consumption of plants and the average nutrient concentration in the soil water. Mass flow supplies an overabundance of calcium and magnesium in many soils and most of the mobile nutrients such as nitrogen and sulfur if concentration in the soil are deficient. Movement of ions as potassium and phosphorus by diffusion. The most of the potassium and phosphorus moves to the root by diffusion. As you know that diffusion occurs when an ion moves from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration by random thermal motion. As plant root absorb nutrients from the surrounding soil solution, a diffusion gradient is set up. Plant absorbing nutrients in the manner, thus create a sink to which nutrients diffuse. A high plant requirement or a high root absorbing power results in a strong sink or high diffusion gradient, favoring ion transport. The three principal soil factors influencing the movement of nutrients into the roots are diffusion coefficient, concentration of nutrients in the soil solution, and buffering capacity of the solid phase of the soil for nutrients in the soil solution phase. Of these factors, diffusion coefficient is the most important since it controls how far nutrients can diffuse to the root for given spacing of roots in the soil. It determines the fraction of the nutrients in the soil that can reach the root during a specific period of plant growth. Volumetric water percentage, tortuosity factor, which express the irregular and indirect pathway of diffusion in the pores of soil, and the buffering capacity. High soil moisture thus have substantial influence of diffusion. Buffering capacity decrease as nutrient level in the soil increase. Reduction in buffering capacity associated with the rise in the rate of diffusion. Soil factors influencing ion transport. A number of soil factors, the most important which are soil texture, moisture content, temperature, deliver the ions to the plant root surface by diffusion and mass flow. The finer the texture of the soil, the less rapid will be the movement of soil moisture and diffusion of ions through the water. Also, ions diffusion through soil moisture in a clay soil are much more likely to be attracted to adsorption sites on the clay than in the sandy soil. A reduction in soil moisture has a similar effect on both water movement and ion diffusion, and as soil moisture is reduced, increase in soil moisture tension, water movement slows down, thus the movement of moisture to the root surface is slowed. Similarly, as the moisture content of the soil is lowered, the moisture films around the soil particles become thinner and diffusion of ions through these films becomes more tortuous. Transport of nutrients to the root surface is most effective at a soil moisture content corresponding to field capacity. Low temperature will slow down the transport of ions by both diffusion and mass flow. Diffusion rates are proportional to temperature squared. The movement of nutrient ions by mass flow will be reduced at low temperature. In addition, the transport of ions in the flow of water evaporated at the soil surface will diminish at low soil temperature. Soil index fertilizer increase salt concentration of soil. Application of fertilizers to soil helps to maintain a high concentration of nutrient ions in the soil solution. Addition of nutrients such as phosphorus and potassium with restricted mobility in the soil because of their reaction with the soil components will produce enriched soil pockets which can persist for long periods. As plant roots absorb ions, the presence of added fertilizers will increase the favorable diffusion gradient, thereby enhancing ion movement to root surface. Fertilizer application can also have a positive influence on nutrient uptake by raising the concentration of nutrient ions carried to the root in the transpirational flow of water. Fertilization helps to offset soil conditions that retard the movement of nutrient ions to the root. Soil index fertilizer increase the salt concentration of soil solution. The salt index of a fertilizer is a measure of this phenomena and is determined by placing the material under study in the soil and measuring the osmotic pressure of the soil. Osmotic pressure is expressed in atmosphere. Salt index is actually the ratio of the increase in osmotic pressure produced by the material to that produced by the same weight of sodium nitrate based on the relative value of 100. Mixed fertilizer of the same grade may also vary widely in salt index depending on the carriers from which they are formulated. Higher analysis fertilizers will have lower salt index per unit of plant nutrients than water soluble. Lower analysis fertilizer because they are usually made up of higher analysis materials. Absorption of ions. The mechanism of ion absorption is that ions enter the root by exchange, by diffusion, or by the action of carriers or metabolic ion binding compounds. These three mechanisms are associated with the two components of the root system. One is termed as outer space or apparent free space, and the other is termed as inner space. Absorption of ions in the outer space is believed to govern by the process of simple diffusion and exchange adsorption. Absorption of ions into the inner space is metabolic, that is, the expenditure of energy by the root cells is required for this type of absorption. In contrast to absorption in the outer space, it is irreversible. As you can see in this picture, the negatively charged soil particles affect absorption of mineral nutrients. Cation exchange occurs on the surface of soil particles. Cations positively charged ions bind to the soil as it is negative charge. If the potassium binds to the soil, it can displace calcium from the soil particles and make it available for the plant. These are the simple definitions of simple terminology that used in these lectures. As the adsorption, what is meant by adsorption? Adsorption is the adherence or bonding of ions in molecules onto the surface of another molecule. Denitrification, it has been already discussed in previous lectures as denitrification, denitrification, the process where soil microorganisms obtain their oxygen from nitrates and nitrites, resulting in the release of nitrogen or nitrous oxide. This can happen in water-logged soils when oxygen is limited and anaerobic decomposition occurs. Eutrophication it is also discussed in previous lecture as the natural aging of aquatic system caused by the introduction of limiting nutrients. As the concentration of nutrients, sodium, potassium, phosphorus, some nutrients have been applied via the addition of fertilizers to the soil, hence increase in the concentration of nutrients observed in the soil. Fixation, the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen by soil microorganisms such as rhizobia into organic forms which can be released into a form that plants can use. Humus, any organic matter that has reached a point of stability and breaks down very slowly. Humus consists of fluvic acid, humic substances. Immobilization, the absorption of by microorganism of the nutrients released from organic matter decomposition, preventing these nutrients from being available to plants. The opposite of immobilization is the mineralization, as the conversion of organic material into the inorganic material via the action of microorganisms, or it is known as mineralization process or conversion of minerals, you can say. Labile nutrients or organic material that is changing or susceptible to rapid change. Leaching is the downward movement of substance such as nutrients in water through soil pores. Macronutrients, an essential chemical element such as nitrogen or phosphorus that is needed by plants in large quantities for it to function normally. Micronutrients, an essential chemical nutrient such as boron, zinc that is needed by plants in small quantities for it to function normally. Mineralization, as discussed, conversion of organic substance into the inorganic substance. Nitrification, as the denitrification, reverse of the nitrification. It is the biological addition of oxygen to ammonia, creating nitrite that can further oxidize into the nitrate. Hence the oxidation of ammonia into the nitrite and then further oxidation into the nitrate. It is the nitrification process. Precipitation, it is the condensation to a solid form from a solution during a chemical reaction. Salinity, the accumulation of free salts in the soil solution is known as salinity. Salinity, absorption, the action of either absorption or adsorption, both combine and accumulate into one terminology, that is the absorption. It is the effect of gases or liquids being incorporated into the material of different states and adhering to the surface of another molecule. Stomata is a pore opening in plant leaves, plural term for stoma, single when it is used single. Guards cells close and open the stoma, controlling the loss of water vapor and other gases from the plant. Transpiration, the process of evaporation of water from the above ground parts of the plant. Volatilization, as we have already discussed the term phytovolatilization. Basically, it is the conversion into the gases that lost to the atmosphere. In nutrient management context, it is the loss of ammonia gas to the atmosphere.